What's up, guys? Welcome to Diggity, a video game podcast, episode number 254. Lego, baby. Lego. I'm Jeff James.
That's a lot of episodes.
Oh, yeah. It is.
I know I've said that before, but my God, it just seems like a lot.
I think we say it every episode.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Every week, we're just amazed that we're still here.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're fine. We're fine. Anyways, guys, welcome. I'm Jeff James. With me, as always, the incredible, unobtainable, luscious Brody Faults, bringing you video game news from around the interwebs straight to your moist ear holes. Each and every single week, we sit down, we throw down. We don't throw down. We're peaceful to each other, but we throw down on bullshit that we see. Pretty blunt people. If you're new to us, welcome. Thank you. If you've lasted this long and you continue to listen to our stuff, thank God you're brave. We appreciate you in multiple levels.
Especially after the Smash Bros. Tier list.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Good God,
wild. That was really
wild. That was wild.
But anyways, yeah, we go live on YouTube and Twitch. We're actually changing our times. We'll be going live at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch and on YouTube going forward. Just a little bit easier. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. almost said percent Mountain Time, and 6 p.m. Pacific Coast time. But look, the only thing that matters is Eastern time zone. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong.
You're right. I mean, we may be slightly biased, but you're right.
Right. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. Also, check out the YouTube channel that we're part of. It's a bunch of creators making cool shit. It's called Spawn Camp. It's on YouTube. It's awesome. We're growing. It's fantastic. We've got stuff from WASD and Beyond Boys, which they talk about PC and pop culture stuff, all things games. They talk about how much they hate Halo, but they also love it at the same time. The TV series, that is. We've got some great stuff from Build Bros, which do Gundam builds and stuff like that. It's amazing. It's amazing what we're doing. We're doing a lot of cool stuff. We do Let's Plays and stuff like that as a whole team collectively. So jump on over there for Spawn Camp and check it out. And then with that, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll jump into stuff. You've got a slight little PSA about the PC gaming show.
Yeah. So I do want to preface something. So we are changing up the order of our show because we have people that will pop in, and if we aren't talking about the topic right at the beginning of the show, people will leave. So we are changing up how the show is ordered and going directly into news, and we'll cover what games we've been playing at the end. So just before we get into some of the bigger news here, we're going to cover the PC gaming show that was announced. That will be airing June 12th at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is, yeah, cool. Basically E3 is happening, just not through E3. So
it's really fucking weird.
It is weird. It's very bizarre to see, but I mean, I'm glad that all these things are still going on, and I'm actually more happy about this because I can't wait to see the look on Nick's face when they still don't announce a third game in a series for any of his favorite franchises.
No, I know they'll come out with like a case for the Steam Deck.
Yeah, absolutely.
A stylus. That'll be their big thing. He'll go, what? And be like, hey, you know,
that show brought some of the best pictures that I could have ever imagined. And I love to just throw them in on Twitter or in our Discord or anything like that. Speaking of which, we're going to plug our Discord.
That's right. Shit. Everything, there's a lot of new shit, so we're trying to
There's a lot of new
out.
shit. There's a lot of shit going on all at once. But yeah, we also have a Discord. I will be putting that up on Twitter, and everyone's welcome there, and it's going to be a cool community. Unless you're an asshole, then you can get the fuck out.
Yeah, we're also, I'll put the link to the Discord in the description of the YouTube video. It'll go forward into this as well. So it's free. You don't have to pay to get into the Discord. There's no locked channels or anything like that. It's just a place to chill, to hang out. Definitely be respectful. Share some dank memes out there. And just be nice. Just be nice people. It's the one slightly hellish hole of the internet that we have left.
This is true.
Let's
slightly
hold on
hellish
to as long as we
compared to completely hellish. Yeah, we'll take it.
Let's hold on to it for as long as we can. But on with the news. So one of the big things this week is obviously a couple of weeks ago we got, was it a week ago or a month ago? Maybe it was a month ago. anyways, PlayStation was looking to refresh the PlayStation Plus subscription program by bringing us 3 different tiers, or actually 4, really, which was PlayStation Plus Essential, Extra, Deluxe, and Premium. So let's do a quick recap on those before I get into the games that were announced that are coming to PlayStation Plus at the different tier levels and how awesome they are, because I am pretty astounded by it. So PlayStation Plus Essential does not give you access to the catalog. I also don't. I'm a little confused. I don't know if Essential even gives you free games anymore. To me, it sounds like it does not.
I am not sure either. I think that stays the same. I think.
So we believe you still get 2 free games or 3 free games depending upon the month.
Yeah, I think it does go back down to 2 free games instead of the 3 that we kind of have been getting lately. I think it goes down to 2. But yeah, basically that stays exactly how it is from my understanding.
And then you basically have just your standard live service, your ability to play online games, which is great. Then you got Extra, which is PS4 and PS5 game catalog from PlayStation Studios and third-party partners, which we'll get into those in a minute. And that will also include new Ubisoft Plus Classics catalog of 27 titles at launch to grow to 50 by end of 2022. Something to note here that's really fucking important, because people shared this shit all over Twitter that Ubisoft Plus was coming to PlayStation Plus. That is not true. It is Ubisoft Plus Classics. Very different. It is only classic titles by them. I don't know what the time frame is for that constitutes a classic, but or if it just gets, it also seems like it's also like whatever they deem as a classic. So like Valhalla, for example, is something that is in there that we'll talk about, but yeah, obviously it's not that old of a game, so this is not a replacement for Ubisoft Plus. It is like this, it's kind of like a demo-ish kind of look into it, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Something,
and
also,
we don't know how.
Oh,
we don't know how long that is going to be a part of this either.
Correct. Yeah.
This could be like a year thing just to get people on the service. We don't know, right? Like this could be a short period, but still, it's there at least at launch.
Something I also want to note too on the live side of stuff, in terms of how we're doing the show. At the end of the show, we'll take questions. So if you have questions, leave them for the end of the show, and we'll do a question period where we'll answer some questions. And also, if you want to have us answer some questions on the show for the question period at the end of the show, please send them to us on Twitter. DM us on Twitter at Diggity Podcast. Helps us out a ton. And then PlayStation Plus Deluxe, you get what you get in Extra. And then you also get the Classic Games catalog, which includes original PlayStation, PSP, and remasters from PlayStation Studios and third-party partners, and also time-limited game trials. Those time-limited game trials are 2 hours. So it is only when you're playing the game. So like if you download the game, you start it up, you hit pause, from what I believe, it will not take that time away. If you start it up, you go back to the home screen for like an hour or whatever. The timer does not start the minute you start it for the first time. It is literally in-game, like 2 hours of playing the game.
We'll see.
No, that's noted. That was noted by PlayStation.
Was it? I'm interested in that because I know on like Xbox and stuff, if you're doing the 10-hour free trial of EA Plus game, right, or a EA Access game, it will actually count even if it's set aside like in the quick resume. And so people have like burn up their entire thing.
This will only be during
How does it
play.
Differentiate whether you're like paused or not?
Well, the trial, from my understanding, is a separate download, and it basically just understands if the user has paused the game or went to the screen. And then finally, PlayStation Plus Premium. You get everything that you get in Extra and Deluxe, but you also get an original PS3 games catalog via streaming. So that's a refresher on that. But let's get into the games, because I was astounded by this. Look, Game Pass is ruling a lot of shit, right? Like, I mean, like, yeah, they're kicking ass. And a lot of people in our community have been talking about, like, how does PlayStation even compete with that? You know, obviously they have unbelievable first-party games that are, you know, well sought after in the gaming world. And now they're expanding that out to the PC side of things via Steam. But something that was amazing to me was just the list of this. So we're going to break this out by a couple things. We're going to break it out by PlayStation Studios games that are coming to that. The third-party partners coming to PlayStation Plus in terms of games. Then I'll go through the PlayStation Studios games catalog for the classic games and the third-party classic games catalog, and then the remasters, and then the PS3 games. So I think the way I want to rule this is I'll roll through the list, and we just stop each other when we come across a fucking great game, and we talk a couple tidbits to it. And because there are some games in here where we're like, yes, fuck yes, that's a great game. And it's going to be good. So, any words before we jump and dive into this craziness?
No, but I probably will stop you immediately after the PlayStation Studios section here.
Sure. So
go for it.
To start off, we've got Alienation, so not bad. Bloodborne, great game. Concrete Genie, Days Gone, Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition, Death Stranding, and Death Stranding Director's Cut. Not going to play it. I'm not down for that.
Fair enough.
It's just a little weird. Demon's Souls, Destruction All-Stars, which is... Was that free?
Dead?
That was free, right?
It was free at launch for
Okay.
limited amount of time, yes.
Everybody's Golf, which you got to check that out. It's fantastic. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, amazing. God of War, great. Gravity Rush 2, Gravity Rush Remastered. Horizon Zero Dawn, Infamous First Light, Infamous Second Son. This one was amazing. Knack. Fucking Knack, dude. Do you remember Knack?
Yeah. Knack, but no Knack 2.
No Knack
later.
2.
I can't remember.
Maybe this is a test for Knack 3.
Maybe.
Because there was a Knack 2, right?
Video Game Donkey's going to be super excited.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Little Big Planet 3, Loco Roco Remastered, Loco Roco 2 Remastered, which I was stoked about that. Those are PS4 games, by the way. Marvel Spider-Man, which says Marvel Spider-Man PS4. I don't think it's the remastered.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What? Yeah, that one, even like remastered, it wasn't. Like,
it really wasn't an amazing.
Right?
But yeah, the only difference I'd say is the remaster give the speed boost to the actual game. I don't know.
Yeah,
and it came with the DLC. Takes a long time to load when you rip across the map on PS4 versus on PS5.
Right.
It's pretty nuts.
Since that's a PS4 game, yeah, it probably won't have that. But
we've got Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is the PS4, PS5 version. Matterfall, PS4. Medieval, PS4. Patapon Remastered, PS4. Patapon 2 Remastered, PS4. Resogun, PS4 edition. Returnal, PS5. Shadow of the Colossus, PS4. I will be absolutely playing that. I love that shit. Tearaway Unfolded, PS4. The Last Guardian. Nobody played that fucking game. PS4. The Last of Us. Remember how hyped up that shit was?
Yeah, that one was crazy hyped, and then it
for
just
years
kind of flopped. Yeah. And we're not talking about The Last of Us. We're talking about The Last Guardian.
Yeah, chill, everybody. We're talking about The Last Guardian. Just chill.
Chill, Evan. I can
Evan.
feel his blood pressure raising.
The Last of Us Remastered, PS4. The Last of Us Left Behind, PS4. So not a remaster. I think we're just... That's it. PS4 versions. Until Dawn, PS4. Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection for PS4. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, PS4. Uncharted, The Lost Legacy, PS4. And Wipeout Omega collection. Those are your PlayStation Studios games that are set to hit from day one on PlayStation Plus. And when we're finally done the list, I'll explain the frequency to which games would come onto this subscription service. But what do you want to say about that, Brody, with PlayStation Plus?
So the only thing I wanted to note on this is quite a few of these games are games that are included in that PS Plus collection that you got with the PS5, and I believe it's still available.
It is still available.
I think there's like one game that has come off of it, one or maybe two. I don't fully remember. So yeah, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, I don't remember if The Last Guardian was in that or it was a free PS Plus game at one point in time. But regardless, I mean, this is still an incredible list. I imagine that PS Plus collection is probably going to be going away once this launches,
Yeah,
or
I
else it's
assume
going to
so.
take some of the steam out of it. But yeah, there's some fantastic games in this list. I mean, PlayStation Studio games, right? Like these are some of the best of the best. Marvel Spider-Man is an incredible game. I love that game. God of War is incredible. Ghost of Tsushima is incredible. Demon's Soul. There's a lot of heavy hitters here, and
The Nathan Drake
obviously
collection, Uncharted, yeah.
the Nathan. Yeah, The Last of Us. Like there's a lot of stuff here to keep you busy for a long period of time. And I granted, a lot of them don't necessarily have a ton of replay value, but there's still enough to keep you busy for the rest of the year easily.
I'll tell you what, too. I was a little bit stunned at how I could think that this would go differently when they launched this, because if you think about it, and we'll get it, the games get crazier as it goes. Like, there's some really good stuff in here, third party wise. But like their play on this is that they already had games. They just need to have them on this subscription service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus Xbox, it did not have games. So there's this whole
true.
acquisition, right, over the last couple of years, and they're still growing. But I don't know. I kind of like, I went, holy shit, this is a lot better than I thought. And then I sat back and went, why would I think this wasn't going to be good?
No,
Or
I
lackluster.
figured it was
was
going to
kind
be
of amazed.
fantastic. The only downside to it is I've already played a lot of these games,
Sure,
and that's just
yeah.
a personal thing, right? Like, there's a ton of people out there that have not played all of these games, so I think it's a great, especially this initial tier is a fantastic value right out of the gate, and it's a good answer. And I'm not saying answer as in this is specifically an answer to Game Pass, but it is comparable, right? And the only thing that is not comparable is new release games are not going to come immediately to this. It'll probably be a couple years. So, like, I mean, Spider-Man, incredible game, but it came out in 2018. Same for God of War. Like,
Gosh, it's a long time.
so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago,
No.
but that was 4 years ago. So, they certainly aren't new games, but regardless, they're fantastic games.
So let's get on with the third-party partners that are under the PS4 and PS5 game category, which is your I got to go back to the names here, which is your extra, under your extra tier. At a minimum, your extra tier. We've got Ashen, sorry, for PS4. It's my cousin's name. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, PS4 and PS5 version. I was a little stunned by that, I got to say.
Yeah, a little bit, but I guess I'm not too surprised. It seems like PlayStation really teamed up with Ubisoft on this
They did, yeah.
for a lot of the third-party
But
stuff.
Xbox
So I'm not
also
too surprised.
Is bringing Ubisoft Plus, and it's getting
Yeah.
a little weird.
It's starting to get Ubisoft's playing both sides of the field, and I can't say I
Makes
blame
sense.
them in
They're
any
making
capacity.
a shit ton of money probably. Off
Yeah,
both sides. Like, fuck it.
absolutely.
We'll go to you too. Batman Arkham Knight, PS4. Celeste, PS4. Highly recommend getting into that game. If you have not, you need to play that and try it out. Cities Skylines for PS4. Control Ultimate Edition, PS4, PS5. Dead Cells, PS4. Far Cry 3 Remaster, PS4 version. Far Cry 4, PS4. Final Fantasy. Oh, fuck. Final Fantasy 14. Yeah?
15.
15. Fuck me, dude. I hate Roman numerals. Oh, shit. Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. No wonder Rome fell. PS4 edition for Honor. No idea what the fuck they were doing. PS4 Hollow Knight. PS4 Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. PS4, PS5 versions. Yeah.
Which it just came to Game Pass not too long ago too.
It fucking did. You haven't seen this list, right?
I've ran through this list. Once,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, cool. So
Quickly,
I'm definitely playing that. I'm stoked for that. That's amazing.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I
was gonna
love
say, you love that game.
Yeah, it's
Mortal
very
Kombat 11, PS4, PS5 versions. Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, PS4. NBA 2K22. Little stunned on that one. PS4, PS5, considering how fucking popular that is to purchase.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds, PS4. Red Dead Redemption 2, PS4, right? Obviously. Resident Evil, PS4. Soul Calibur Fuck me. Is that 4, 6? It's okay because the one's after the fucking 5. I got you.
Yes, sir.
I'm picking up. PS4, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. PS4, The Artful Escape. PS4, PS5 versions. The Crew 2. PS4, and Tom Clancy's The Division. PS4. So those are the third-party partner PS4 and PS5 games that come along with the PlayStation Studios PS4 and PS5 games for the PlayStation Plus extra tier at a minimum. So
all of the Ubisoft games must be a part of that classic. They all have 3 stars next to them in this list on the official PlayStation blog. I haven't scrolled down to actually find that in here, but I assume that's what that is.
Oh, yeah, okay, I got you. Good eye. Yeah, good eye.
I'm surprised to see Valhalla necessarily in the classic list, but I think the reason they did that is just it's the newest Assassin's Creed, and even at that point, it's like 2 years old at this right now. So
I think they just deem it by sales numbers.
Yeah, and then it's weird to see the Division 1 in here and not the Division 2. I thought that was a strange one. But out of this list, if you have not played Celeste, that game is incredible. I absolutely adore that game for what it is. It is a very frustrating platformer, but it is so much fun. Valhalla, if you're into the Assassin's Creed series, it's a good version of it. You can't go wrong there. The Batman Arkham Knight's a really fun game. Hollow Knight is a beloved indie game.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, we kind of already mentioned that. I love it. Mortal Kombat 11, great fighting game. Red Dead Redemption is
oh my god,
incredible experience.
Unbelievable. You got to jump on.
And then, honestly, other than that, I know a lot of people kind of like the Artful Escape as well. It's kind of more of that artsy type of game that I don't typically get into. But yeah, there's a lot of good options here too, right? Like this is a very, very, very solid list.
I should have probably mentioned as well the new tiers of PlayStation Plus launch in Asian markets, excluding Japan, May 23rd. In Japan, June 1st, in the Americas, June 13th, and Europe, Australia, New Zealand, June 22nd. And the pricing for Essential there's no change on that. It's $9.99 a month, US. Extra is $14.99 a month, US. So $14.99 to get the PS4, PS5, PlayStation Studios, and third-party titles in that catalog. The Game Pass, essentially, of PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And then premium is $17.99 a month, which gives you the extra tiers, which is fantastic. So let us move on to the classic games catalog, which requires you to have PlayStation Plus premium / deluxe, / deluxe plan, depending upon your country. And the classic games catalog includes original PlayStation and PSP games, as well as classic game catalogs that are remastered as well, both from the PlayStation Studios and third-party partners. So let's just start with the classics. These are not remastered. So these are just as is. You will play these games I'm about to say first. So for PlayStation Studios, Ape Escape, Hot Shots Golf, IQ Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Siphon Filter, and Super Stardust Portable. And for third-party partners, Mr. Driller, Tekken 2, Worms World Party, and Worms Armageddon. I think that's weak as shit for the classic games. None of them are remastered. I really don't give a shit about any of these. I'm probably not going to play any of those, like, at all.
I've said this multiple times, but I'm not big on going back to classic games, except for games from like the SNES time period, because those aged pretty well, but everything else didn't really age super well in that first iteration of like 3D graphics and stuff. So I'm usually not big on that. I'll still go back and play like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and stuff like that. But I'm typically not big on going back to games that just typically don't look great. And that early PlayStation is they're usually kind of rough to go back to nowadays when you have games like The Last of Us that look like a fucking movie.
Yeah. Now, while you sit here and say, hey, if I'm just looking at the classics, not the classic remasters, there's no fucking way I'm doing premium and deluxe plan. But Let me now tell you what's in the classic games catalog remasters, and you'll blow your load. Here's PlayStation Studios. Yeah, 100%. Ladies, maybe not, but you whatever. Ape Escape.
That was smooth as fuck.
Ape Escape 2. Don't care for PS4 remastered. Ark the Lad, Twilight of the Spirits, PS4. Here's where it gets fucking interesting. Dark Cloud, bro. Dark Cloud. PS4 remastered. Dark Cloud 2. PS4 remastered. Fantavision. PS4 remastered. Hot Shot Tennis. PS4 remastered. Now, this is where it gets amazing. Jack 2, baby. Jack 2. PS4. Jack 3. PS4. Jack X Combat Racing. PS4. Jack and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, PS4 Remaster, Rogue Galaxy, PS4 Remaster, Siren, PS4 Remaster, and Wild Arms 3 Remastered, baby. And then your third-party partners, BioShock Remastered, PS4, Borderlands, the Handsome Collection for PS4, Bulletstorm, Full Clip Edition for PS4, and Kingdoms of Amalur, Re-Reckoning PS4, and Lego Harry Potter Collection, PS4.
So where I'm at on this, and I've also said this a couple times on the show, I didn't play PlayStation before PlayStation 4 really, other than like going to a friend's house. I was not a PlayStation kid. So all of that list doesn't do a whole lot for me in the original PlayStation Studios, other than the Jack games. I mean, that's fucking awesome. I'm stoked for that. But the rest of them I'm not super familiar with, so I don't know enough to really be excited. As far as the third party partners go, BioShock Remastered, abso-fucking-lutely. Kingdoms of Amalur, I'm pretty sure was one of the PS Plus games at some point. Yes. And then the Borderlands Handsome Collection. I don't know.
You're Borderlands out. That was your...
I am Borderlands out, for sure. But Borderlands 2 is incredible. I do really still like that game. Didn't care for the pre-sequel, though, so... Yeah, whatever. But BioShock, if you have not played BioShock, you definitely need to try it out. I highly recommend that series.
You've been playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, though, right?
I've rolled credits on it,
Ooh,
even. I finished her up.
There we go. What caught my eye on this is Dark Cloud and Dark Cloud 2. Put a shit ton of that. All the Jack games, yes. I liked Lego Harry Potter Collection. That's cool. Kind of surprised no Killzone.
I am a little bit surprised too, but being that is predominantly a multiplayer game, I kind of see why. You got to populate the...
I feel like if they brought that shit back, though, people would jump on it. Like that and Resistance.
Yeah, but how long would it last? That's my thing.
I think it would be decent for a while.
Yeah. It's so far, almost everything on this list has been single player shit or like a local multiplayer or something like that.
It has
none of this is
to be single player,
right? And so I think a lot of this is they don't want to maintain the servers for old games and things that have pretty well done. Yeah, and I don't blame them either. That's just kind of the way I look at it. As
I agree
in my mind. Like bringing back an older Killzone would be novel for a short period of time, but I feel like a lot of people would get burnt out on it, within a couple weeks.
God, they need to make another Killzone.
They do. The last one was not incredible, but...
They need to make another Killzone, they need to make another Resistance.
I think they need to give it to a different team.
I agree.
Killzone.
Because that was... to like Bungie.
See, that would be sweet. Because
you
as much as I...
perk up, you're like, now, hold on.
Hold up. Yeah, part of the reason, like I've played a lot of Destiny and a lot of Destiny 2, and honestly, it's not the content that really brings me back. It's the gunplay. It is some of the most smooth gunplay out there, and that's probably part of why. I mean, they literally brought in psychologists to figure out how to make it as addicting as possible. So yeah, I don't. I don't necessarily care for the business model they have going on with that, but if they made a multiplayer Killzone, that would be fantastic. Shit. That would be so cool. Yeah. It was Guerrilla Games. That's who it was.
Okay.
That did Killzone. So.
All right, and then on to the original PS3 games, which are only accessible via streaming, which I find fascinating, but whatever. And this is under the PlayStation Plus Premium plan. So the new PlayStation Plus will offer PS3 games to stream and play on PS4, PS5, and this is important, and PC as well. Now, there are only a couple games on the... I think not every game here that streams on PS4 and PS5 can stream on PC, from my understanding, because there are a bunch of legal asterisks after PC. But these are original. They are non-remastered versions of PS3 games and are available to PlayStation Plus premium members where cloud streaming is available. And this is your early look at the selection of original PS3 games available. So from PlayStation Studios, Crash Commando. These are all PS3, by the way. Demon's Souls, Echo Chrome, Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds, Hot Shots Golf World Invitational. Is it Ico or Ico? Ico, right?
I would say Ico, but I'm not sure.
That's
also
another
notorious for pronouncing hyped. Things wrong. So
that was another one that was super hyped all the time at E3. I think that showed with the launch of the PS3, and it was like brutal. Like it was one of those things where it's like, look, he's a human and can talk to you, and then it's like it was just garbage. You know what I mean? Like just garbage.
Early PS3 and Xbox 360 games were pretty rough.
Connectables.
Pretty rough. Right.
Infamous 2, Infamous Festival of Blood. That's great. That's awesome to have those. Loco Roco, Correct. Cocoreco, I don't know. I don't speak fucking Spanish. I speak French. Motorstorm Apocalypse, Motorstorm RC, Puppeteer, Rain, Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty, Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time, and Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus. Here's where it comes, baby. Resistance 3. Let's fucking go. Super Stardust HD, which I'm gonna be stunned if Resistance 3 you can also play online.
Yeah, I think that's going to be just the single player aspect of it, I would
imagine
think.
So. Super Stardust HD, Tokyo Jungle, and When Vikings Attack. And from third-party partners, Asura's Wrath, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, Devil May Cry HD Collection, Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, Fear, Lost Planet 2, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. So from this, what catches my eye is Motorstorm Apocalypse. I love that series. Infamous series. Hot Shots Golf. Ratchet and Clank kind of, but older Ratchet and Clank games do not play very well.
The older ones, yeah.
Yeah, no. I can't stay glued to them. Because there's a bunch in the, or at least a couple in the, I think 2 in the PlayStation Plus collection. Collectors or classics or whatever on launch for PS5. And then I would say on the third-party partners for me.
Are you sure that wasn't in PlayStation Now? Because I don't. Everything that was in that PS Plus collection was PlayStation 4 games, if I remember correctly.
I think there might have been one Ratchet and Clank game in there.
Okay, that was the one from 2016. I want to say.
Yeah, there is one in that though. Yeah, and then from third-party partners, probably Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. I'm not really too keen on all the other games in there. Like, they just don't really do anything for me. But
so yeah, for this list, seeing Infamous in here is awesome. The other than that, in the actual PlayStation Studios, I'm not. It seems weird to have Demon's Souls in here again, just because I'm sure there are people, right? But I would much rather play the remastered version than go back to the original. That's just me. Again, I know there's nostalgia there, and I'm sure people jump into it. But if you also have access to the remastered in this, by the time you pay for this tier, you're gonna have the remastered. I'd rather just play that. The third-party titles, Ninja Gaiden. That's an interesting choice on which one they went with. Also, same for Castlevania. Interesting choice on which Castlevania game to go with. The Devil May Cry HD collection. That's a pretty cool choice. And then yeah, like you said, Undead Nightmare would be probably my standout there. Lost Planet was one of those series that, like, I remember the first one coming out and having quite a bit of hype, and then it just died. Absolutely everything after that died. I don't even remember hearing about Lost Planet 2 until after it was out and like on sale somewhere.
And then I'll wrap up this PlayStation side of stuff with just the time limited game trials. So this is with premium and deluxe or /deluxe, sorry, the time limited game trials. This is what PlayStation wrote. So it says the time-limited game trial benefit will enable you to try select games before you buy. After downloading a trial of the full game, you can play it for 2 hours for most games. The playtime counter only counts while you are in the game. It's a great way to try games before you decide to buy, and any trophies and game save data from the trial period will carry forward if you purchase the game. Here are some of the titles that will be part of the time-limited game trials. From PlayStation Studios, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, PS5 version obviously, and Horizon Forbidden West PS4 and PS5 versions will be available for time trial. Third-party partner games. This is fucking stunning to me. Cyberpunk 2077 PS5. You will be able to try for 2 hours. I was super stunned about this. I think there's some certainly bad blood there on CD Projekt Red to Sony, and perhaps this is somewhat of a makeup. I don't know.
You could have a free trial for a game they literally banned from their store for like 8 months.
I know,
it's so weird.
I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it's like Sony being like, "Hey, we know." Like, I don't think Sony did anything wrong for doing that. I think they needed to do that.
No, I don't think
because
so
they don't
either.
want to crash people's PS5s and supply chain issues. They wouldn't be able to fucking replace them. So, like,
right.
Why would you take that risk? Farming Simulator 22. That's great. Tiny Tina's Wonderland, PS4, PS5.
There you go.
And WWE 2K22, PS4 and PS5 versions. So, to be honest, to be fair, the premium side of stuff, I am probably going to hold off on that. Even though Resistance 3 lies in there, I am probably going to hold off on premium, which means I am not going to have the limited time game trials, and I am not going to have the original PS3 games. Or sorry, I will have the time trials. I just will not have the PS3 games. I just don't see value in that. I don't see the reasoning for doing that. I don't see the reason to pay that money for streaming that shit. And like you said, none of them are remastered, and some of them exist as remasters. They're just not there.
Right.
Which is dumb.
I personally am not going to go above extra at this time. Like, I just don't really, again, I don't know. I could maybe get into the deluxe tier, maybe, but just to try some of the games that I missed out on. But I don't know, man. Like, to me, I think there's a lot of good stuff here, but I think the majority of it is right there in that extra tier where I'm most excited about, but I can see how somebody could definitely slip into deluxe. For me personally, though, I'm with you. I don't really see that much value in the premium. I think the games that are there for that PS3 catalog is just, it's not enticing to me. I also I feel really weird about these time limited game trials, and I get it to some extent, but also none of these are big heavy hitters either. I mean, Forbidden West is probably the heaviest hitter on this list, and I don't know, man. I think it's an odd thing to put here. If you're doing a trial for a game, I feel like you would want that in one of the lower tiers. That way you can actually, try to promote sales for it instead of doing it to the diehards that are paying for your premium service because they probably already own these games. It just seems bizarre. But at the same time, I get it. Like you said, the playtime counter does count while you're in game, but to me, that reads as it would still count if it's paused. I think it's just solely while it's actually brought up. So if you paused it and went and ate dinner, you may just lose out on, half hour of playtime in this. But I think overall, I'm impressed, right? And I think mainly like I said, where I am most impressed is in that extra tier. I think that's a good value. I think that's where most people are going to reside and where they're going to pick up the most people to upgrade from Essential. I feel like Deluxe is still not bad, right? But I don't know if it's going to garnish the same sort of interest as, Extra. And I really don't think Premium is going to sell exceptionally well for them. I mean, I know there are some diehards that really want to go back and play the PS3 games, but yeah. I think some people may do it for a short period of time and then bump down to Deluxe or bump down to Extra. But yeah, I think overall they did a good job. They came out with pretty much exactly, at least in that first tier, exactly what I expected. I didn't expect there to be 3 tiers of this. I expected there to mainly be like essentially Game Pass Ultimate, right? Like where it is you have 1 tier above gold, and it's Game Pass, your Game Pass Ultimate, I guess, and yeah, I think it resides exactly where I expected. I think they did a good job on it, and I'm excited to see what else gets added over time and how they're gonna roll out some of the new games and all that.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm curious to see how frequent they update it, and I'm curious to see more like what is the lifespan of a new PlayStation Studios title, and then when does it go
Right.
to this service? Because I think you can have great games at launch like this, and they have a really good lineup. But the question is going to be, okay, cool. Is it going to be like Game Pass where shit just goes on day one, or is it going to be, which from everything we understand, and they hint that they still are going to have another announced before closer to launch. So I would assume within the next couple days we would get something, because the first place that this launches is on May 23rd. They've
explicitly said games will not come day one, or at least PlayStation Studios games.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know if that's going to be a killer or not for that. People expect, I think, stuff to come out quicker. Like if it's something where they spend like literally, if it's like a year, okay, cool. If it's like 2 years for some PlayStation Studio games to make their way on there, I think that's pretty bullshit. Like if Spider-Man 2 is 2 years in and it doesn't come to that service, I think that's pretty shitty.
I agree. I think at a certain point you're gonna have to bite that bullet and put it on there. I'm curious to see what their retention rate for this will be as they go, because I think there's gonna be some people that definitely hop in at least for a while, and then maybe they drop back down to Essential, and then as games get added, they may bump back in and out. I don't know. People are also lazy and inherently don't like to cancel subscriptions because they also typically make it very hard.
Yep.
But I think the thing that, yeah, like you said exactly, with it depends on how long it's going to take games to make it to this service. And if I blow through most of the games on the Essential tier in, a year and a half or whatever, what's going to continue to keep me on this service? And that's what's yet to be seen, and that's something that took a while for Game Pass to prove even, and even then I'm not entirely positive they proved that ultimately. Like there's games coming, but they aren't always, gigantic games or whatever it may be. I'm also curious to see how this is going to hurt game sales for them. Granted they would have people locked into a subscription, but if people that aren't super diehard, and they just want to play a game at some point, and they find out, oh, well, in a year, Spider-Man's going to make it onto this subscription, and in the meantime, I have other games to play on this subscription, so I'll keep my subscription, but I'm not going to buy this day one because it'll eventually make it here. And that's the problem we've seen in Game Pass, too, where it is that question of, like, well, some people don't like to buy games anymore because like it's probably going to make it to Game Pass at some point. And I've been guilty of that too. And I've actually won, which is a very rare thing for me. Typically I buy a game and it goes on sale like the next day. But I've actually held off on some games because I've been working through backlog stuff and trying to make my way through that. And we've seen, games come to Game Pass. I'm like, oh, cool, I can finally play this or whatever. But and half of them I have played and I bounced off of, and I'm glad I didn't buy them. But it's a toss up, right? And that's kind of the nature of where we're at in gaming and all these subscription services and things like that. And I mean, even like HBO Max, right? We will subscribe for like a movie because it's cheaper than renting the damn thing. Mm-hmm. And so we'll subscribe for a movie or whatever, and then we'll keep it for that month and then cancel it again and come back when there's something else we want to watch. So, I mean, if you're dedicated to it, you can really get a lot of value out of them, but they're not banking on the dedicated people. They're banking on the people that are lazy and will not go and cancel this and just continue to pay for it forever.
Yeah, certainly. And in terms of the refresh rate of these games and to their catalog, they gave some insight to this. So for PlayStation Plus Essential, a monthly refresh will occur on the first Tuesday of the month for the PlayStation Plus Essential plan and both higher tiers, with new PS4 and PS5 games added to the service, same as what PlayStation Plus members get today currently. Also, if you are a PlayStation Now subscription service on June 13th in the America side or Asia, wherever you are on the launch date, it will automatically change itself to premium. Mm-hmm. So you don't, which is it will result in the same charge to your card of $14.99 a month. So no need to worry
and that's
there.
just the extra tier, isn't it? Because premium's like 18 something maybe.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, extra.
Extra.
Yes.
I don't remember the price structure entirely, but yeah.
And then the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium Deluxe refreshes. An additional monthly refresh will occur in the middle of each month with new games across the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium Deluxe plans, and the number of games refreshed will vary per month. So every month you'll get an episode of Diggity where we're talking about Game Pass updates and PlayStation updates. Because now we also have to follow these.
There's one other thing that I am curious about with this is how often are games going to leave? I mean, as far as their first party studio stuff, I doubt most of that is going to leave, if at all, or very, very rarely. But I can definitely see some of these third parties being on here temporarily and maybe bouncing out. I mean, some of these there's some heavy hitters in here, like having Red Dead on here is probably not, or Red Dead Redemption 2, having that on there is probably not cheap. And it was on Game Pass for a little while and it fell off, so I imagine that will eventually leave. And I think any of these third-party partners could eventually, pull these games from here, and now they have to continually do like Game Pass, where it is, oh, this game's leaving and that game's coming, or whatever it may be. So I think there's a lot to see from this service. I think this is a strong start in a lot of ways, but I think whether it's actually going to be worthwhile is going to be more of a long-term thing that we're just going to see over the next year, 2 years, before we really know what this is fully going to be in the long run. Because PlayStation Now sounded great too, and then it wasn't supported in the way that, Game Pass has been supported, and it died. And that's why this is now a thing, right?
I think they've got to support it. Obviously,
they have to.
Yeah, but on top of that, I mean, they just needed the refresh. Having PlayStation Now as its own standalone thing, I think, was pretty fucking dumb in terms of just going this tier mode on the fact that people are just bundling services under a subscription. So having something separate for $14.99 was pretty fucking dumb, I think, versus just having the consumer be able to understand they get all of these things and the previous things in terms of tiers. I think I think it just translates better. So, but I mean, they're 340 games in to start. Well, there's 700 plus games in total, I guess, but that they say are coming to it, and to your point, over the year where they'll come in and out. But if I recall from when Game Pass started, the games that launched in Game Pass stayed for a long fucking time.
Yeah, and a lot of them were great.
Fucking rough.
Right.
Yes.
And that's, again, got to see how they support it in the long run, because that's where Microsoft has done pretty well. Like, I think Game Pass is pretty well supported. I mean, granted, the list we just saw this week was not great, but
yeah, oh my god.
I mean, out of that list, the standout was Sniper Elite 5, which is a brand new game and it's coming day one, which is that's cool, right? But other than that,
no. Yeah, so, we shared in the Discord. I was like, I am not interested in any of this shit.
Right, and that's PlayStation is gonna have to prove that they can bring things early. I mean, if you have to wait a year and a half for games, people aren't really going to be super interested in that.
What's great about this, though, for PlayStation is now they have an incubator or cultivator for indie studios to put games on their shit. Yep. And then PlayStation has, because now the model goes from, you make money based on the amount of games you sell to, hey, I'm going to cut you a check for $250,000 for you to put your indie game on our subscription service. And the great thing about that is now PlayStation can kind of test out that indie market, try to make it exclusive to their stuff, test the games out on there, and then make their acquisitions based upon those games and how well they do on basically a trial fee of anywhere from it could be really cheap. Sometimes it could be like $100K to like a couple mil or hundreds of thousands of dollars given to the developer based on signing the contract and whatever they sign. But I think that's exciting. Not that Game Pass doesn't have that ability also, but Microsoft is looking at big fish to gobble up. And so is PlayStation, rightfully so, like Bungie and stuff like that. But I think it's a great way for them to pick up smaller studios as well, which obviously smaller studios, if done right, will continue to grow at a rapid rate and create bigger and bigger games. And I think, to be honest with you, I think that's a better strategy than acquisition. Because there's not, like,
agree.
The only thing I've seen on Microsoft's acquisition stuff right now is that games are getting fucking delayed or shit has not changed. Like the Activision stuff, I understand they do not own Activision yet, but I'd still be trying to be like, you're going to fucking figure shit out so that when I get this stuff figured out and we're not under, monopolization critiquing, we can just fucking go gung-ho and start launching shit. And, like, they're not doing that. They're just kind of sitting there. And they've kind of just sat with their other shit, and all their shit is delayed.
I agree. Yeah. No, and I also, I've been listening to some other shows and stuff, and I agree with some of the, yeah, right. No, I only listen to Diggity. But no, I was kind of listening to another show, and they were talking about that, and I don't think Microsoft's ready yet either. I think they have a lot of stuff in the pipeline, and I think 2023 is probably going to be a good year for them, but there's a lot of shit still in the background, right? Like they acquired a lot of studios where they already had deals with PlayStation, or they already had, other various things like Arcane, putting out Deathloop, and it was a PlayStation timed exclusive and stuff like that. So I think there's still a chance for them to prove that these acquisitions are worthwhile, but at this moment, there is no proof, right? Like Starfield just got delayed, Redfall just got delayed, and that's what we've seen. Granted, we just came out of 2 years of like dog shit, but
Halo's a fucking mess, not a disaster, but it's a fucking mess.
Yeah,
we still do not have the fucking Halo game that we were supposed to have. They had this shit done. People were like, "Oh my god, look at the graphics of this. This looks like a turd." The infinite part of Halo is
finite,
missing.
Very finite.
And it's I agree. It's very missing.
I wholeheartedly agree. I have not played Halo Infinite for months now. The thing for me, I think a different studio needs to take over Halo, because I don't think 343 wants to make Halo anymore. And then the show writers for the Halo series also didn't want to fucking make Halo. They wanted to make a goddamn CW show.
As we continue to talk about this, I just want to state now, please, if you have questions, please put it in the chat, in the live chat. There's a little bit of a delay, so that's why I just mentioned that. But continue on with your stuff with the Halo. Yeah, I mean, my thing is, how the fuck can you not make a good... I was also listening to another show, and an individual on that show had a really good point where Castlevania did very well as a TV show.
This is true. And it was,
how the fuck can you not make a good Halo show?
Because they didn't even play the games or read the books.
Most people attribute Castlevania to like old school fucking Castlevania. Like first fucking Castlevania, and we can make a show on the notion of that shit, but we can't make a good fucking show on what is arguably one of the greatest video game franchises of all time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, tell me how. And like the budget, we have so much money to spend for that. And it goes on Paramount Plus, launching as a new streaming network where there's not a lot of, like, there's shit on there, but not a lot of new stuff, right? Like, there's like, hey, fucking learn about the Washington Monument in this 2012 documentary from the Smithsonian Channel, right? There's not new shit like Halo on there. So, like, it's in front of everyone's eyes. You have all of this budget, and you still fucking have people holding like cardboard fucking guns, dude. Like, it's the craziest shit I have ever seen in my life. I tried to watch some of it. I put it on and I was like, this is garbage. This is hot fucking garbage. Like,
Yeah.
It's trash.
So I wanted to talk about what Ed just said in our chat here, and he said,
"Is this a question or a statement?"
It's kind of a question regarding Halo.
Okay, go ahead.
He basically asked, "Is Halo still important?" The way he phrased it first time, it says, "I don't think Halo isn't important anymore," and then he goes, "Or should I say, is Halo still important?" I think Halo is still very important. It is the DNA of Xbox, right? Like, that is why the original Xbox even succeeded in the first place.
Sure.
They put Master Chief all over all sorts of stuff, right? Like, he's hidden inside all the consoles, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is an important franchise that is also dated by the fact that it was made in the time period it was, just like Gears of War is. I think there's a lot of chance for them to really revitalize the series, and I think the campaign of this Halo is fantastic, but they have not really done anything that's super impressive. Like, it was fun to play, don't get me wrong. I didn't enjoy, like, the story of the campaign was whatever, but the actual campaign was fun to play. I think Halo is still very much in that DNA of Xbox, and I don't know if it's nearly as important as it once was, but it is still one of their flagships, right? They have Gears of War, they have Halo, and right now that's if you're looking at original Xbox studios, that is like where it stops, right?
Not even
that
if you're just
Forza.
looking at shit to play on the fucking system. It's that and Forza.
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause everything
And
else
right
is
now,
delayed.
yep, exactly.
Or it's
And
not
so
ready.
I think Halo is extremely important for the Xbox as a whole, but I don't think 343 or Microsoft are treating it with the importance that it really should have if they want to have a game. But I also I don't know, outside of COD, like, I don't feel like that multiplayer type of thing really works anymore. You have a game like Destiny where it is a shooter. It has a multiplayer shooter, but it also goes on basically infinitely, right? Like, there's so many other options for games to play that do so much more than what Halo's doing right now. It is a bare bones basic. Even Call of Duty has Warzone at the end of the day. So, like, there's ways to continually play this game and do different things, or even zombies, right? There's 3 different main modes in a Call of Duty game anymore where it's zombies. In this day and age, I don't think you can get away with that really anymore and have your game that excel unless your multiplayer is fucking flawless. And Halo Infinite is not that by any means.
I think so. For me, like, I think people forget when they fucked up Halo, which is arguably Halo 4.
Yes. When 343 first took it over.
Yeah, and that
when
is
Bungie left.
And that is 2012. It was 10 years ago.
It's 10 years of not great Halo games.
So like Halo.
I will say, to kind of counteract my own point that I said, Halo 5 did have a different game mode. I think it was called Warzone or something like that, and it was okay, but most people didn't like it, and also Halo 5 was a fucking dumpster fire at launch. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's good now, but no, it was a fucking dumpster fire at launch.
It doesn't matter if it's good now.
Right, yeah. It's
not how games work. It's a hit-driven business.
Yeah, and even the Master Chief Collection was a fucking dumpster fire.
I'm going to go through that here in a second.
Okay.
So, like, Halo 4, 2012, that's when they fucked up, right? Like that. Like, they took Halo and they went, let's not continue what makes it good. Let's change some shit up or whatever, right? Okay, it doesn't go good. What do they come out with in the next year? Halo Spartan Assault. Now we start getting all, like, the fucking, let's just throw Halo into whatever the fuck we can, right? Destiny comes out, which takes away from the Halo crowd, certainly, right? Like, sabotages it in a lot of ways, right? Takes those people away. Then what do we get? We get Halo 2 Anniversary. Okay, cool. Halo the Master Chief Collection 2014. Garbage launch. Terrible launch. Multiple technical problems. Terrible issues with it. Also delayed. Then we get Halo Spartan Strike, another bloatware kind of style Halo shit, right? Then we get Halo 5 Guardians, arguably not great. Again, no co-op campaign. Like, you're just fucking around. That's great.
Right.
Which, again, co-op campaign is what people have asked for numerous fucking years, and we still don't have it. Then we got Halo Wars 2, which, you know, people were stoked for that, but that was 2017. Halo Wars 2 Awakening 2017, and then Halo Fireteam Raven 2018, and then we got Halo Infinite. And Halo Infinite does not have co-op campaign. We are still missing many fucking features into the game. It's been buggy as fuck. The multiplayer is not that great, and people are fucking dying off. So we haven't had a solid fucking Halo game since 2012.
Yeah.
Pre-2012. We haven't had it since fucking, what? When was Halo 3? Because Halo Reach...
2007?
2010 was Halo Reach.
Yeah, Reach. Reach was 10, 3 was
Which Reach,
7?
People were quite receptive to Reach, right?
Yeah, people love Reach.
So,
they fucking love Reach.
So 2010.
At least the campaign of Reach for
12
sure.
years we have not had and that's what I think people like. Yes, people play the shit out of Halo multiplayer, but people played the shit out of the campaign. And I don't know if Halo Infinite would have done better as just multiplayer. Service.
I don't think so, because
I don't know what people want. Like, do people want the campaign? I would assume so.
The multiplayer is free as its own standalone thing.
I know.
So
it is.
I don't think it would have done any better to be just that, and people would be pissed if there was not a Halo campaign. Like,
but
Halo fans would be
fucking play it though now.
Yeah. Oh, the campaign is.
Can they trust
the only
it?
thing? No, the campaign of Infinite is the only thing people like about it.
Okay. So you enjoyed Infinite.
The campaign yes.
Wise. Where does it stand in the Halo side of stuff?
It's hard to beat those first three, right? Like,
but why is that?
Reach even, because 343 sucks.
Okay, I gotcha.
I honestly, since 343 has taken over the franchise, it has gone downhill, and like exactly that, right? Halo 4 was the first time 343 had their hands on it, and
something that's missing into it, like the secret sauce, or no?
Honestly, I don't. The biggest thing right now is the frustration with 343 is they just don't seem like they fucking care, right? Like, this one launched without co-op campaign, which is bullshit, and without Forge, which could have single-handedly saved this fucking game at this point, because people are bored as shit. They're slow to launch everything. Everything about how they're handling this game has been bad. I don't think Halo 4 was awful in all regards, right? Like, I think in hindsight it's okay, but and I also don't know if it was a mixture of the writing, for one. The writing just is not, granted, I don't know, right? Like, it's a somewhat generic sci-fi story in some regards anyway, but the writing definitely went downhill, and on top of that, like, I don't know if some of this is a product of its time type of thing too, right? Like, once we got to a certain point, now Halo just might not hit the same way it does, or it did, back in the early 2000s up through, the end of the 2000s. So it's hard to say whether it's it's probably a mixture of both, right? It is a mixture of the product of its time, but also I think 343 just does not care, and I don't think their writing is nearly as good as Bungie's was, while they still had the franchise under their control. It's hard to pinpoint it, right? But like with this multiplayer, they absolutely dropped the ball. Not having a co-op campaign, drop the fucking ball, especially when you promised it and then you missed that deadline for the promise date, and on top of that you didn't have Forge at launch. Like, there's just so many missteps. It's incredible that and this is after it already got pushed back a year, and they still don't have this shit after what, almost 7 months.
Yeah, well, because this is the thing, right? Is when we talked about all these acquisitions that Microsoft makes, they have shiny object syndrome. Like, they're fucking all over the place, and shit is getting delayed, and they're just, it's like having like multiple pots of like soup going at the same time, and like shit starting to boil over, and they're like, oh fuck, I gotta attend to that. And then you're like, oh shit, I haven't even fucking started this shit, like, oh my god, my Halo bisque is fucking boiling over on the sides, but Jesus, this chicken noodle Starfield over here is not even fucking started. What do I do? Like, they're not used to it. They're not used to being successful in gaming for the last two generations.
Well, the 360 started off significantly higher than PlayStation 3, right?
I agree. But it's been a while.
I don't think that's entirely fair either, right? Like, Halo is the only dumpster fire from the first party studios that have not been acquired, right? So I think Bethesda would have been in a mess regardless. I think it's just the way Bethesda operates. I don't think that's entirely Microsoft's fault, right? And on top of that, they have to make sure this shit's polished, or else it's a problem, which is a first for Bethesda. But also, I think there's a lot more attention on these studios under Microsoft now than what there would have been, not necessarily on the Bethesda aspect of things, but even like some of the smaller studios and stuff that they acquired. There would not be that much attention on some of these games if it had not been for that acquisition. So everything's under a microscope right now, and everything just seems amplified to a level that, some of these studios are not used to. And on top of that, I don't want to make excuses, but we did just come out of the fucking COVID shit, and we've talked about it before with all the work from home stuff for game development doesn't work very well. So it is I'm not trying to make excuses for Xbox, but we've also seen other studios do it outside of this microscope, and nobody seems to put it in the same regard, right? But everybody, anytime it's a Microsoft studio, it kind of seems to get a lot more heat, which fair enough, right? That's the whole fucking point. They're massive, and so I get it, and also I'm trying to have some grace with it, right? But I just it's a weird landscape for sure. Halo Infinite is absolutely a misstep, and as far as the multiplayer goes, though, I will 100% back that, and I don't think that's necessarily a Microsoft issue. I think that's a 343 issue. Again, you delay the game for a year, and 6 months after launch, you still don't have the things that you promised for 3 months after launch. That's kind of an issue. That's not, and I don't know how Microsoft helps with that. That's the actual studio's problem.
I think the big thing on it too, what I was saying is, like, once Microsoft has a hit, instead of them injecting that hit into another title in some fashion, like a PlayStation All-Stars, so like let's take Uncharted as the example, or let's take God of War.
Yeah,
they do not make spin-off fucking things based on the IP of God of War and Uncharted.
Right.
They don't tarnish the fucking value of that IP. If that means that we sit for 5 years without a fucking God of War, we sit for 5 years without a God of War. But we know when the God of War comes out that their attention was focused on God of War, not on God of War fucking wars or God of War recon bullshit. Like, it's the same shit for Gears. Right, we got Gears, and Gears is also interesting because I feel like the game style of Gears, not the design style of Gears, really worked great for 360 because of the graphic limitations and the way that the characters were still kind of cartoonish, but it was still realistic in a lot of favorable ways. I don't think that carries over now, but they did the same shit with Gears. They fucking made wars. They made a ton of different shit, dude. They did a fucking game with pop figures. Like, and that tarnishes brands.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of that comes from a time period when they didn't have anything else.
I
right?
agree, but
and that's where I was saying about
close to your diamonds. Like, like, true Halo fans, probably, like, true Gears fans, let's use Gears. True Gears fans did not fucking play that pop game. Okay? But people who played Gears 1 but never played Gears 2 and heard about Gears 3 probably played that fucking pop game and then went, fuck this,
I don't
dude.
know. I don't know anybody that played that pop game. I have clearly have collected a lot of pops.
It's a bad example, but like like Halo Wars. Someone who's not a crazy Halo fan, maybe skipped a Halo or two, goes and says, Halo Wars, cool, I'll check this out. And they go, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then the Halo fans also at the same time go, yeah, I don't really want to fucking play that. I just want Halo.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I think they've absolutely drug that through the mud, and a lot of that came from because they only had basically 3 tentpole franchises under their belt, right? Like Forza, Gears, and Halo, and that's all they had.
It's weird because like Forza, they did Horizons, which I get. I understand that move. But if they sat around and said, hey, we're doing Forza Kart Race or something like that, or Forza Arcade, and it becomes this like miniaturized like Hot Wheels style racing shit, then it would fucking tarnish it.
Yes,
but you can see them fucking doing that. That's what they do with Halo. That's what they've done with Gears.
My thing is, I think they waited too long to make acquisitions, and a lot of that came from the management change in the Xbox One era, right? Like that's when Phil Spencer stepped in as head, and that's when they started making change. I think they had bad leadership. I genuinely think they had bad leadership for a long time, and I think they fucking shot themselves in the foot. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And that's not an excuse for them because at this point, I mean, Gears means very little to me. And I was a huge Gears fan. Halo means very little to me. And I was a huge Halo fan. And so I fully agree. I just think I don't know what they do at this point, right? Like people are still going to demand another Halo game, and they're going to have 343 put another Halo game out at some point in time. And it's going to probably be steaming dog shit because 343 clearly doesn't want to make a Halo game. That's not what they want to fucking do. I don't know what they want to do, but it's clearly not making
one because I don't know anybody on this earth that wouldn't want to have a hand in making one. But I just don't think they know how to fucking do it right.
Fair. That's fair.
Because the only reason I say that is because they keep making the same fucking mistakes.
This is true.
Which means you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Well, and you're not willing to learn either.
Right.
Like, it's not even just the fact that you don't know what you're doing. You're not learning.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't listening to the fucking community. You aren't doing any of the shit. If you listen to the Halo community, you would know that Forge means everything and a co-op campaign means everything. Everything outside of that, sure. But
my wife, who only plays Overwatch, but played Halo 4 and all the other Halos prior, asked me the other day about Halo Infinite, and she said, is there a co-op campaign? I said, no. She's like, that's a bummer. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right. Like,
my wife, who really doesn't play games that much, still understands that the good part of Halo is the co-op campaign, and they still don't fucking have co-op campaign. Just like they didn't for Guardians. Guardians didn't have co-op campaign, right? Or it came later. It didn't have it, right?
It was not local at launch.
That's right.
It was online only because I had Craig, friend of the show, and we were ready to play it, and we couldn't fucking play the campaign together in the same goddamn house because they made it online only. Like, what kind of fucking horse shit is that?
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, a normal general public person goes, they don't have co-op? No. Why?
Right. They would have been better off. They would have been better off to push the multiplayer back and have co-op campaign, and it would have been received 10 times better.
Oh,
10 times better.
Certainly.
But they just make stupid fucking decisions over and over and over again. It's incredible to watch 343 just fumble fuck this franchise into the goddamn ground until it means nothing.
God,
it's incredible.
Bro. And they're backed
the goddamn
by there's
Xbox.
so many teams. That's what stuns me too. There's so many teams that they can call upon now, right? I get it. They're 343, so they're like, oh, we do Halo, and like we're, it's like being the person that draws Mickey Mouse, right? Okay, but if you put a Mickey Mouse film out versus another fucking Cars film or Finding Nemo or the latest, I had to put Cars in there, or the latest Pixar film, it's not going to do nearly as well as like Encanto or fucking something else, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
But the guy who draws Mickey Mouse goes, well, I draw Mickey Mouse. Like, bro, fucking listen to the people who have made something that is far more popular than fucking Mickey Mouse now. Like, your shit does not stay good forever. Like, you have to continue fucking learning.
Yeah, literally the design of Mickey Mouse was because he's easy to draw, and they could draw him quickly to animate things because animation was not at the par it is now.
Right.
I mean, like, you have to innovate. You have to.
Well, Master Chief was created because they could not make graphically his mouth look good.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Other people that could have him move and stuff like that, but his shit is blocky. He looks like a fucking robot in some essences. His suit does not move in a nimble fashion.
No. They're like, he's like 900, or he's like 2,000 pounds. You're like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
No, animation at that time period was just rough. It's cool.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, it's stunning to me. It's like gunplay. Who could you call upon now? Jesus, the next Halo, I'd probably call up Activision, and be like, hey, like, how do you make it fucking feel good? You know, like when you're ripping around, give me some pointers on some different shit. You know, hey, story wise, wow, Bethesda, how do you fucking really build up a fucking world? How do you get people under that ZeniMax umbrella? How do you get that thing to flourish and to get so much fandom within the shit?
And that's exactly. They have so many studios under their umbrella now that have strengths in certain areas, and they're not utilizing it. Exactly that. Like Bethesda, inherently, their games are usually very buggy and they're usually a fucking mess, but their story is what captures people and brings people into it, right? And so to sit here and be like, oh, well, we had nobody to lean on. Like, yeah, granted, Bethesda doesn't typically do, space odysseys, right? But you could still lean on them for some ideas. Granted, Starfield, right? We don't know, but it's just, yeah, exactly that, right? There's so many very impressive studios in their own regard within this umbrella now. I mean, Activision obviously is still not there right now, but yeah, once Infinity Ward is now a part of it, like, hey, what the fuck do you guys do for gunplay, right? Like, granted, Halo and COD have kind of always been on opposite ends of the spectrum to some extent, as far as, like, some people like Halo, some people like COD, right? Yeah. But I just, there's so much more they could be doing, and that's what sucks to see. And yeah, I talked a lot of shit about 343 in this, and I don't regret it because they
were confirmed.
Yeah, but it's that thing of like, yeah, this is the franchise that built Xbox as a household name, and they're fucking running it through the mud, and it sucks to see. But I also don't know what they do, right? I don't know how you revitalize this. I don't know how you bring it back. I don't know if they're capable of it, and I don't know if at a certain point you lay it to rest for a extended period of time and then come back to it way later, kind of like how they did with Gears. I mean, that took a extended break and then eventually came back, and I think they did some good things there. But I think Gears is also one of those that is beat to hell at this point. What? Oh god.
I didn't. So I just put in Cars 4 just cause we're gonna end the show out on this because I think this is amazing.
Yeah.
So I put in Cars 4, and the first thing that comes up is that there's like some Cars series coming to Disney Plus. Okay, but then I see underneath this it says Cars 4 Wiki, and then I didn't realize that there's this site called ideas.fandom.com Idea Wiki. Okay, where people basically make a fake wiki for something that has yet to come out yet. And someone has a Cars 4 2023 Disney Pixar film idea wiki. And here's the description. Here's the quick 2 sentences on it. Cars 4 is an American computer generated action black comedy film. Released in 2023 by Pixar Animation Studios. The film is the 4th Pixar film to release on Disney Plus. This is a fake wiki. Here's the plot. Are you ready for this? You fucking need to pay attention. You're gonna fucking die, dude. This is hilarious. Cruz Ramirez, a new generation piston cup racer, now enters a new racing series called the Tearing Spring Rally Shootout, which is covertly an illegal fuel cartel. Titan A pickup truck vows to take advantage of Cruise's new spirit for rally racing with his illegally brewed fuels. And Sir Tomater has also been recruited by a private investigation team of undercover police cars in order to expose the false racing series and save Cruz Ramirez before it's too late. This is the second Cars film to have Raul Carul featured, and this is the fourth Cars film. Jack Titan is based off of the Nissan Titans.
Wow, that's I kind of want that now.
Oh my god!
That's
The fuel cartel.
That's incredible. Yeah, we should probably wrap this bad boy up. On that note.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh my god, that is fucking fantastic. God, I love the internet so much.
I love how we ventured into this from literally talking about the PS Now or the PS or the new PS Plus. But honestly, that's kind of how the show rolls. We didn't even get to our main topic.
Well, I wouldn't call it our main topic. It was a side topic. But we'll leave it for next episode.
We'll get to it eventually. It's actually a question from good friend of the show, Ed. So
yes,
we'll get to it eventually.
Oh my god, dude. Ka-chow. That's unbelievable.
Ka-chow.
Anyways, guys, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. Remember, you can join our Discord for free. Not many things in life free anymore. Our Discord is one of them. That link for the Discord is available on our Twitter. It'll also be available on the description of our video if you're watching live on YouTube, or if you watch the video after it's gone live on YouTube as well as Twitch. And be sure to check out Spawn Camp on YouTube as a whole. Like I said, we've got WSD and Beyond on there, as well as Build Bros, and also some Let's Plays that we do as well. It's just a good old gang of peeps out there playing some games, and talking pop culture. I don't know why Nick still somehow loves Halo, but after 10 minutes, I hated it. The show, that is, the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with that, remember also we will go. Evan fucking wrote Kerchew.
God,
yeah, man, dude. Cars quotes alive, dude. Long and free in here. And he's called us daddies. I hate that. He said great show, daddies. I don't like that either.
I don't like it.
Man, I hate it. Anyways, show is changing. It'll be live at 9 p.m. Eastern again, so remember that if you watch live. Also, if you're watching live, you can watch it, or you can listen to us every Friday morning. Episode goes up of Diggity, the video game podcast on all podcast platforms: Pandora, Spotify, fucking Google Podcasts. God, there's a new podcast platform opening up every week, and it's there.
Oh yeah,
it's there. We get emails all the time to the Gmail. Hey, we're starting a podcast site and aggregator. We'd love you to add it. Sure, we add it. I mean, dude, we've got to be on 40 plus platforms.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, at this point, for sure.
I mean, it's absurd. So
all over the place.
Yeah, so go check that out. And if you do listen to the audio version of the podcast, if you're listening right now through audio, please consider leaving us a review. It helps us out a ton and get more exposure on those platforms and get more exposure for the podcast as a whole. And with that, we'll bid you adieu. And, start tweet us or DM us some of your Cars 4 ideas. I'd be interested in understanding some people's fantasy plots out there as to what happens. But,
God,
it'd be interesting. Please keep it clean.
No, DM Jeff. I don't need this shit.